Hey everyone, and welcome to your deep dive
Yeah.
into TikTok marketing for 2025. We know you're busy running your businesses, so we're going to make this quick and actionable, whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out.
That's right. We've analyzed some expert insights, really interesting YouTube series, and a detailed guide to bring you the best strategies for rocking TikTok in 2025.
And the best part, you don't need a huge advertising budget to see results. In fact, this deep dive focuses on how to grow organically.
Absolutely. And to prove it, we'll be diving deep into a fascinating case study, the Shadow Work Journal. This journal blew up on TikTok, generating over $4 million in sales in just 30 days. And guess what? It was all organic reach.
Over $4 million in 30 days. That's insane.
It is. Think about it. They sold over 205,000 copies through TikTok Shop alone. That's an average of 5,000 to 10,000 purchases every single day.
So they essentially built a multi-million-dollar business in a month, just from TikTok.
Pretty much. And what's even more impressive is that they didn't stop there. They used that TikTok momentum to build a presence on other platforms like Amazon and Shopify.
Okay, I'm hooked. How can our listeners achieve that kind of success? What's the secret sauce?
Well, one key is understanding the TikTok algorithm. It's actually not as mysterious as people think.
Right. I think a lot of people assume it's some kind of black box. Impossible to figure out.
It's not a black box at all. It's
Yeah.
very visually and auditorily driven. Think of it like this. The algorithm is paying attention to your visuals, voiceovers, descriptions, hashtags, even the on-screen text.
So it's really a holistic approach. You can't just focus on one element and expect to go viral.
Exactly. Everything needs to be aligned. And perhaps most importantly, you have to grab attention instantly. The first 3 seconds of your video are crucial.
That makes sense. People are scrolling through their feed so quickly, you need to hook them right away.
Another thing the algorithm seems to favor is content featuring multiple people.
So that's why we see so many collaborations, public interviews, and reaction videos going viral.
Exactly. It's not just about being entertaining. It's about how our brains perceive information.
Interesting. So how can our listeners leverage that insight? Maybe team up with other businesses in their niche, do some joint videos.
That's a great idea. And it also ties into building a community.
That's such an important point. TikTok isn't just about posting videos, it's about building relationships with your audience. Speaking of which, what are some other organic growth tactics our listeners can use?
Well, let's start with profile optimization. Keep it clean, straightforward, and make sure your value proposition is crystal clear. You should also include a strong call to action and pin a few of your best performing videos to your profile.
So don't overwhelm people with too much information. Just give them the highlights.
Right, and let's not forget about trending sounds. TikTok loves to promote content using popular audio.
So jump on those trends, but do it authentically. Make sure it fits your brand and doesn't feel forced.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about sneaking calls to action into your videos. This might sound counterintuitive, but it's super effective. Just don't be overly salesy.
I've definitely noticed that the most effective TikTok ads don't feel like ads at all.
Exactly. Show, don't tell. Demonstrate the value of your product or service in a way that feels natural and engaging.
And don't forget to engage with your audience. Respond to comments, answer questions, and even create video replies.
Yes. People want to feel heard and seen. And don't be afraid to have some fun with it. TikTok is all about personality.
Absolutely. And while we're talking about engagement, don't underestimate the power of hashtags.
Yeah.
Capitalize on trending hashtags, but adapt them to your specific niche.
Right. For example, if you're a fitness business, you could use hashtag fitness tips or hashtag home workout, but make sure they relate to your specific content.
You can also hack the algorithm in a way by studying viral videos in your niche. Figure out what's working for others and see what you can adapt for your own content.
Exactly. Analyze their format, their editing style, their calls to action, even their use of humor. It's all valuable intel.
If you like what you're hearing, hit that like button and share this deep dive with your fellow entrepreneurs. We've also included a complete checklist of actionable steps in the description below so you can start implementing these strategies right away.
And speaking of storytelling, here's a powerful technique you can use, open story loops. It's about creating narratives that keep people hooked.
Ooh, I like the sound of that. Tell me more.
It's simple but effective. You pose a question, present a problem, or introduce a conflict.
And then cliffhanger. Make them want to come back for the resolution.
You got it. And another great way to keep people engaged is to use carousel posts with voiceovers.
I've noticed those are becoming increasingly popular. They seem to do a great job of breaking down information into bite-sized chunks.
Exactly. And that's why they work so well. They increase completion rates, which is something the algorithm loves.
So aim for at least 70% completion rates for videos under 30 seconds and 50% for longer videos.
Right. And another way to boost engagement is to use frequent clip changes every 3 to 7 seconds.
Keep those visuals moving. It's all about holding people's attention in a fast-paced environment.
Now, before we move on to TikTok's e-commerce features, I wanted to mention the importance of repurposing your content.
Great point. Why create something amazing just for TikTok? Share that content on Instagram, Reels, YouTube Shorts, Facebook Reels. The list goes on.
Exactly. Get the most bang for your buck by maximizing your reach and efficiency. And while we're talking about maximizing reach, it's worth mentioning that you can amplify your efforts even further with paid advertising on TikTok, especially if you already have some high-performing organic content.
It's interesting you bring that up. I think there's still a bit of a stigma around paid advertising on social media. People worry about coming across as too salesy.
I understand that concern, but it really depends on how you approach it. Think of it as an extension of your organic content, not a separate entity. You're essentially giving your best performing content a little boost to reach a wider audience.
That makes sense. It's not about bombarding people with ads. It's about strategically amplifying the content they already love.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to break the bank either. You can start with a small budget and scale up as you see results.
So even a few dollars a day can make a difference.
Absolutely. And when you combine that with a solid organic strategy, the results can be really impressive.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Earlier, you mentioned the shadow work journal, leveraging TikTok's momentum to build a presence on other platforms.
Right. That's what we call cross-promotion. It's about thinking beyond TikTok and connecting your campaigns to your other business goals.
For example, driving traffic to your website, building your email list, or even promoting a special offer.
Exactly. And TikTok makes it easy to integrate these goals into your content. You can add links to your bio use, call to action buttons in your videos, and even run contests and giveaways.
It sounds like there's a lot of potential there.
There is, and it's all about thinking strategically and aligning your TikTok efforts with your overall business objectives.
Now, you mentioned something earlier that really piqued my interest. TikTok Shop. What is it exactly, and how can our listeners leverage it?
This is where things get really interesting. TikTok Shop is a game changer, especially for e-commerce businesses. Essentially, it allows you to sell your products directly within the TikTok app.
Wow, so no more redirecting people to external websites. That's incredible.
Exactly. It streamlines the buying process, which can significantly increase conversions.
I bet. People are already on TikTok, scrolling through their feeds. If they see something they like, they can buy it right then there. No need to switch apps, remember passwords, or enter credit card information.
You got it. It removes all those friction points that often lead to abandoned carts.
Okay, I'm sold. So how does it work? Do you need a special account or anything?
It's actually pretty straightforward. You set up a TikTok Shop account, link your products to your videos, and then you can start selling.
That's amazing. So someone could be watching a video about, say, handmade jewelry, and then buy a necklace right from that video.
Exactly. It's a seamless experience, and it's not just for physical products either. You can sell digital products, services, and even experiences.
Yeah, the possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
What about influencer marketing? Can businesses leverage that on TikTok Shop?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Influencer marketing is huge on TikTok. You can partner with influencers to promote your products using affiliate links.
So even if you're a small business, you could still tap into the power of influencer marketing.
Exactly. It's a very cost-effective way to reach a new audience and drive sales.
Okay, this is all great information. But I know our listeners are busy people. They need actionable advice they can implement right away.
You're right. So here's a quick recap of some key takeaways. First, focus on creating high-quality, engaging content that aligns with your brand and target audience.
Right, don't just jump on every trend for the sake of it. Make sure it's authentic to you and your business.
Second, optimize your profile, use trending sounds, and sneak in calls to action.
And don't forget about those open story loops.
Of course, those are great for keeping people hooked. And third, consider leveraging TikTok Shop and influencer marketing to boost your sales and reach a wider audience.
If you haven't already, hit that like button and share this deep dive with anyone who needs to level up their TikTok game in 2025. We've also included a complete checklist of actionable steps in the description below. It really sounds like TikTok has something for everyone, from solopreneurs to large corporations.
It really does. And what I find most exciting is that it's still a relatively young platform.
So there's still a lot of potential for growth.
Absolutely. And for those who are willing to put in the work now, the rewards could be huge.
That's encouraging to hear. But let's be realistic. TikTok is constantly evolving. What worked in 2023 might not work in 2025. How can our listeners stay ahead of the curve and adapt to these changes?
That's a great question. And it all comes down to paying attention and staying informed. Keep an eye on what's trending, experiment with new features, and don't be afraid to try new things.
So it's about being adaptable and embracing that constant evolution.
Exactly. And remember, you don't have to do everything yourself. There are tons of resources available to help you stay up to date, like industry blogs, podcasts, and online communities.
Speaking of staying up to date, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on something we touched on earlier.
Hmm.
The idea of predicting future trends on TikTok. Is that really possible?
It might sound a bit like fortune telling, but it's not as far-fetched as you might think. By carefully analyzing what's working right now, you can start to see patterns and anticipate future trends.
So it's like being a trend forecaster. But for TikTok, that sounds both exciting and a little intimidating.
It can be both, for sure, but it's also incredibly empowering. Imagine being able to create content that taps into emerging trends before they even hit the mainstream.
That would be a game changer. Any tips on how we can develop our trend forecasting skills?
The key is to pay close attention to the details. What kind of content is starting to gain traction? What new sounds are emerging? What challenges are people participating in? Look for those subtle shifts and try to connect the dots.
And don't be afraid to experiment. Sometimes the best way to predict the future is to create it yourself.
I love that. It's all about embracing that spirit of creativity and innovation.
Okay, I think we've covered a lot of ground today. Any final words of wisdom for our listeners as they embark on their TikTok journeys in 2025?
My advice would be to just go for it. Don't let fear or doubt hold you back. Embrace the challenge, have fun, and remember that TikTok is all about connection. Connect with your audience, connect with other creators, and connect with your own creativity.
That's a fantastic message to end on. So to our listeners, whether you're a seasoned TikTok pro or just starting out, remember, the power to succeed on TikTok is in your hands.
And we're here to support you every step of the way.
If you found this deep dive helpful, please hit that like button and share with anyone who might benefit from these insights. And don't forget to check out our complete checklist of actionable steps in the description below. It's packed with everything you need to start rocking TikTok in 2025.
Thanks for joining us.
Until next time.